While scrolling through your social media, you may find unfamiliar content that pops up into your page. You recognize these hurtful words expressed in the post and automatically feel dehumanized. And knowing that others can see this as well makes you even feel more exposed and more vulnerable. And the difficulty of this as well is not knowing why or what you might have done to the person who had the courage to write this negative post in the first place. The idea of receiving hurtful comments or judgments from another person or a group of people through the internet presents itself as cyberbullying. The realm of social media and networks and other networks have become great resources for cyberbullying to transpire when used inappropriately. The occurrence of this form of bullying is high. Around half of teens have been the victims of cyberbullying, end quote. The high relevance of this issue fuels the need to make reforms and give justice to those who are afraid to speak against their online bullies. Thus, the United States should implement a federal policy where it can generate greater punishment towards cyberbullying in order to reduce the amount of attacks or hurtful comments towards innocent individuals. I would like to first go more in depth in describing what cyberbullying is, or what are the causes of cyberbullying, along with its effects on victims, and concluding with solutions in how to punish or remove cyberbullying by implementing a federal policy. You may already know what cyberbullying is, but have you wondered what may cause it to be so frequent? Cyberbullying has arisen over the years as more technology and social media platforms have been created. Media such as Twitter, Instagram, and even Snapchat has given the opportunity for people to express their own thoughts. With this in good intention to express yourself and to meet others, there is also a negative aspect to it, which is cyberbullying. The internet gives, start quote, the ability to mask one's identity in the online world, end quote, which creates, start quote, a factor that emboldens and desensitizes the perpetrator, end quote. The ability to make an account without using your real identity allows comfort for bullies or any envious person to send out hurtful comments towards people who they dislike. In addition to hiding one's identity, cyberbullying is caused by rooted insecurities from the perpetrators themselves and feel the need to attack others who live better lives than they do. Similar to regular offline bullies, cyberbullies may feel envious and want a revenge against those innocent people. And the pain that they cause towards them helps them cope and feel better about themselves. And by telling off on other people, it can sometimes derive their attention from their own experience in their own life. And studies have shown that many bullies have been exposed to more violence. According to the Department of Psychology and Human Development from Vanderbilt University, when mixed with certain cognitive, biological, and social vulnerabilities, leads to the development of internalizing and externalizing psychopathology and impaired social relationship. These perpetrators are presented with violent factors such as crime or fights that can lead them to try to find another outlet to release their anger. And given that technology and social media have advanced so much nowadays, many bullies use that accessibility to convert themselves into cyberbullies to release themselves in the way they only know how, which is deflecting their pain upon others. And as cyberbullies direct their anger towards others, these individuals become to obtain emotional effects. But before I describe the effects, I would like to clear a misconception that has often occurred, which is the idea that only teenagers and young adults experience the cyberbullying. In reality, start quote, recent studies in different countries have showed an increase in the appearance of cyberbullying across various age groups, end quote. This evidence gives a wide range of appeals with more people who are heavily affected. And how may they be affected? Well, according to Michelle P. Ham and her colleagues, participants and who have been cyberbullied report sequential effects, including becoming more withdrawn, losing confidence and self-esteem, and developing a general sense of uneasiness. The emphasis of cyberbullying negatively affects the victim's mental health, which degrades their perception upon themselves and making it more difficult for them to surpass and grow as confident individuals. Affecting one's mental health can cascade into gaining mental disorders such as depression. Start quote, levels of depression significantly increase with exposure to cyberbullying, end quote. When feeling depressed, more individuals feel worthless, especially when others are criticizing over them. It would be important for victims to find the help they need to control or to remove the sense of deep sadness. However, start quote, the discussion of options for addressing cyberbullying and the responsibility for treatment seems to lack variability, end quote. This evidence illuminates the idea that victims are not properly looked after, and it's important to make reforms so that the population sees that cyberbullying is more than its mean comments. People are affected emotionally and physically, and it's important to bring this attention by addressing it to the population. And with these dehumanizing and effective effects, our nation takes the chance to make important solutions towards cyberbullying. We understand that cyberbullying will never fully go away. However, it's important to find alternatives in order to reduce the violence of cyberbullying. Here we'll look into some exemplar policy where we can benefit from and base our ideas to solutionize our issue. Many schools and universities provide policies within their institution to prevent or punish any form of bullying. According to the Forsyth County Schools Code of Conduct, any student who has committed the offense of bullying for the third time in a school year shall be assigned to an alternative education program. In the Forsyth County Schools, they relocate students to another school called Gateway, where students are taught not only their academics but also ways to improve their behavior so that when they return back to regular school, they behave maturely. This type of consequence may not be our ideal consequence. However, the affirmative action to make consequences against bullying behaviors alludes to our goal to reduce misbehavior against victims. If using this evidence into a national level, then most perpetrators on the internet will easily refrain from writing harsh posts about other people again. And according to the University of Georgia's non-discrimination and anti-harassment policy, if a violation of this policy is found, the level of discipline may include mandatory counseling, community service, transcription notation, and etc. And in serious circumstances, a suspension or expulsion may occur as well. This policy also embodies the idea to reduce bullying by also taking action and embedding punishments and repercussions and when an individual commits bullying, whether offline or online. The idea can achieve one of our goals, which is to obtain more justice for individuals who are not fairly justified. And referencing this policy and the one mentioned above can help further our ideas to develop a federal anti-cyberbullying policy for our future. So I wanted to leave you with this. Even though looking through a different perspective, I can see and understand how others may view cyberbullying as a, start quote, harmless process since words allegedly cannot be damaging as a physical force, end quote. However, let me tell you an event that occurred to my Latino community at UGA. Over the 2 to 3 weeks ago, a club called the Hispanic Student Association, which I'm a part of, experienced a form of cyberbullying during the virtual Club Palooza. A student of college students hopped on the Zoom call using, start quote, explicit and offensive profile photos, yelling vulgar words in Spanish that perpetrated a racist and insulting stereotypes about Hispanic and Latinx, end quote. This event conflicted our emotions and caused anger for the audience who saw this. Now HSA members are experiencing emotional trauma for what was transpired. What we believed was a safe space to chat turned out to be untrue. This event, including many similar to it, demonstrates the need to make federal changes such as creating a federal policy to solutionize the issue of cyberbullying in order to reduce virtual violence towards innocent people. We must collide and persuade the nation's government to appeal to a federal anti-policy. Thank you.